We've come a long way in the past 12 months. It was only about this time last year that Fresche released version 9.7. Now, 4 major releases later, we can enjoy Presto 10.1. I spoke with Greg Patterson, IBMI Modernisation Specialist and Presto expert, to ask about the latest release and what's changed in the product in the past year. Greg, thank you for joining me today. Now, can you give me an overview of the latest release of Presto and the key new features and improvements?
Sure. Over the last 18 months or so, which for Presto goes really from version 9.6 to the latest 10.1, many of the primary improvements to the product have been related to efficiency, security, upgrades, and sort of incremental updates. But as always, our development group has also added some new features. The latest releases have definitely featured some functional improvements that include quite a few security enhancements, just keeping up to date with the industry. There's a health check tool that's now included that helps to monitor some of the jobs that are running on the IBMI, making sure everything's healthy.
Okay.
Some of the underlying platforms that we use, jQuery, jQuery UI, are a couple of the frameworks. Those things have been updated to more current releases. Our charts and graphs, smart charts, have been updated with some new features and new look and feel. Definitely change management upgrades and enhancements based off customer feedback. There's been some changes or some features added for how we present navigation buttons or function keys within Presto. There's, for some customers who install in an IASP environment, we've altered the installer to make that a lot easier. And one of the bigger things, at least on the development side, really doesn't affect too many customers, but we've also deprecated Exodus, which was our communications middleware, and it's all API based now. And as of version 10.1, the old reliance on Exodus has completely been removed from the product.
Fantastic. Doesn't sound like your team are slacking at all, Greg. Okay. Now, I know Fresche are always keen to get customer feedback and to help them drive a product forward. Did you use feedback from the previous versions for this particular update?
Absolutely. Direct customer feedback, partner feedback, like from you all at Proximity, and feedback also from our web services or our consulting group continue to shape the priority for the different features with it for our product development team. A great simple example was the navigation function keys that I mentioned earlier, which are typically exit, cancel, and submit on the screen. Normally, they've been placed at the bottom, or now we can also place them very easily into the sidebar without any sort of a workaround. So our web services team in particular found that many customers were requesting that type of a thing, and this ability has now been made both a global option or a page level option, just to make it a lot faster to be able to be
terrific. That's great to hear you're working on those improvements. Now, talking about improvements, what improvements have you made to the user interface and user experience in this particular release?
In addition to the navigation keys that I just mentioned, also the charts and graphs, which we call smart charts, have been upgraded to newer versions with some additional controls and designs just to look and be able to be a bit more modern. In fact, all of the Fresche web and GUI product line includes smart charts, and they've been upgraded across the product suite to provide that nicer look and feel and be able to match sort of what you see in the industry today. There's also been a few updates to the subfile options, allowing developers to be able to tweak what happens when somebody hovers over or clicks on the subfile options. And so it can be set to display in a few different ways, just so the developers have a little bit more control. And as well, we have more and more, we have customers who leverage Presto in mobile environments. And so we do have a signature pad control within Presto that a lot of customers use for signing off on the delivery of invoices or closing out a work order. And so there's been a few improvements around that to facilitate the signature capture with touch screens, and even more so. Certainly not something that we could do on a green screen in the past.
Certainly not. And these are some of the great things that you get with Presto. So thank you, Greg. And we certainly look forward to experiencing the latest version of Presto ourselves. But before we go, can you tell us your favorite feature within Presto and give us perhaps a sneak peek into what's coming in the future?
Certainly. My favorite feature of Presto, it's maybe not really a feature, but more of an architecture or design of the product itself, where developers are given completely unfettered access to all the elements that make up the screen and a web-based display. So the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. The level of control that gives you as a developer to completely reimagine the green screens using common web skills is really unmatched and really provides a lot of flexibility.
Terrific. Well, there seems to be a lot within the latest version of Presto, a veritable smorgasbord of new features and functionality. My thanks to you, Greg, for your time.
Thanks very much, Andy. Great speaking to you as always.
Thank you. And my thanks to Greg for joining me and updating us on the latest and greatest in Presto. Presto version 10.1 is available now to download and install from the Fresche website.